Winnipeggers will head to the polls on October 26th to elect a new mayor. We sat down with candidate Shaun Loney to find out his plans if he were elected Winnipeg's 44th mayor. Shaun, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Just tell us why you want to become mayor and, your reasons for running here.
This is my game. I'm a problem solver, and I'm happy to talk to Winnipeggers about what our city can look like.
There are about 1,500 Winnipeggers, living on the streets right now. Your plan is to house people living in bus shelters and along the riverbanks within a year. And you also want to have people living downtown housed in a second phase approach, as you kind of put it. So how do you plan on doing this? And is it possible to complete this within a year?
But I was in a bus shelter just last week, Alex, and talking to people in there. And I said, look, Shaun Loney, I'm running for mayor. And they kind of looked at me like, this guy's got some issues. And I said, I helped to co-found Build. And they all lit up because they said, we want to work there. Can you get us a job there? And I said, look, I'm running for mayor, but I'm gonna come back if I can pull this thing off, and we'll figure something out. And I left the bus shelter feeling inspired, and that's the kind of city I want to live in, and that's the kind of city I want to lead.
Crime is obviously a big topic this year. Crime rates are up, especially violent crimes involving youth. So maybe just explain to Winnipeggers your plan on tackling crime.
My approach is let's reduce the police workload. We sent them out, the public, 240,000 times last year. Just astonishing amount of workload. And so I have a very unique position, and once we reduce that workload, good things will happen. It'll free up resources for libraries, parks, and pools, and it'll free up the police to respond when they actually need them. You
want to prioritize fixing existing roads before building new ones. You want to do away with minimum parking here in the city. You also want to raise property taxes by 3.7% next year to generate additional revenue for the city. And you also want to charge a 25-cent daily fee on every commercial parking space in Winnipeg, for example, mall parking spaces. Yes. In your mind, do you think people would be possibly annoyed by this, and why do you think this is a priority?
All across North America, malls are redeveloping in so many interesting ways, but we're not going to get that here if the city's just saying have as much parking space as you like, and you won't have to, pay for the additional contribution to car culture. And it goes along, Alex, with having an awesome transit system, an awesome big city transit system.
And let's just talk about transit there. Let's continue that conversation. You want to create a single fare system. You also want to put security officers on buses for safety measures. And you plan to get the transit master plan completed in 10 years versus the 25 years. So kind of explain how you plan to do that.
I want to compare that to what my competitors are talking about. So Mr. Murray's talking about asking the province during a healthcare crisis, when they're struggling with their own budget, to hand over $800 million over 4 years. It's not going to happen. And Councillor Gillingham's talking about building more than $1 billion of new roads, and he's counting on the feds to cost share. And the feds have already rejected the widening of Kenaston not once, but twice. So I think my plan is much more achievable and would make much more sense to the province.
Stay tuned to City News Winnipeg as we bring you more conversations with other candidates ahead of the election. In Winnipeg, Alex Karpa, City News.